guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm V Coles and this is my space. Come on, let's go. Alright, so we are barefaced and I want to show you guys how I've been doing my makeup when I'm going out and I have to wear a mask. It's truly annoying wearing the mask because at times when you take it off, sometimes you feel like your makeup has also come off. That happened to me about 3 different times. So I really challenged myself to figure out a way where my makeup is still intact when I take my mask off. So I'm going to show you guys what I've been doing and hopefully it's going to help some of you guys. So let's get started. First thing first, I am going to do my brows and apply some lip balm. You guys know I've been loving the Fenty Precursor Luscious Lip Balm. So I'm gonna put some of this on. I'm gonna do my brows and we're just gonna jump right on into everything that I've been doing. Let's go. For anyone out there that is wondering about my brow routine, I do have a video on how I do that, so definitely check it out. I like to link videos in my description box down below, just in case you guys enjoy my videos, you wanna watch some more, just scroll on down and guess what? Click a video and more of me. Okay, so let's get into this. First thing first is I prime. I love to wear primer. I have combination skin. I rely on primer. That base that I put down is so important. So being that I have combination skin, I tend to go for a mattifying primer, but during the winter, I might do a hydrating primer when it's more cold outside, but since it is summertime, I'm combination, those oils are gonna be flowing. I need me a mattifying primer. The mattifying primers that I love right now, it's the e.l.f. Matte Oil Control Primer, and then it is the NYX Angel Veil Primer. I'm giving you guys 2 drugstore primers that I absolutely love and I think they do a great job. If you wanted a more expensive one, I would say do the Hourglass Angel Veil Primer. That is one of my favorite higher end primer, and then also the Cover FX one to me works great for controlling my oils. So we're gonna go in today with the e.l.f. Matte Oil Control Primer. I love this primer. I believe it's like $8. So we're gonna massage that on in there. And I am very generous with my primer, guys. I'm not someone that's like, that puts a little bit and expects a little bit to go a long way. And I especially focus it on my T-zone area because I know that's where my oils tend to seep through. But being that I'm gonna wear a mask all day or for a good portion of the day, I need it to make everything stick and just to hold. So I like to really massage it into my skin. The next step for me is going to be between my Farsali oil or the Laneige Glowy Makeup Serum. If you have dry skin, this serum is going to be heaven for you. If you are a combination of oily, this serum makes the makeup look so good and dewy. But being that it is summertime, I feel like for me, it kind of threw me off a little bit. But going into the wintertime, I would replace my Farsali with this serum right here. I absolutely love this serum and I'm really excited that I purchased it. So I'm gonna go in with my Farsali today. And I like to just pop it like right around here, right around these areas right there. Right there, just like that. Just like that. And then I massage it on in. The next thing I like to do is I go in with my Pore Professionals Benefit Primer, and this one I put in specific areas where I feel like my pores just keep protruding, and it's down here. Like, I got a facial, so it really helped with my pores down here, but I'm just, you know, I got some large pores, and I love the way this just makes my pores look minimized, so I do it because your mask does, you know, come up to here. So I massage that on in there, just like that. The next step for me is to put some powder down onto my skin. If your skin is oily or it is combination, this is such an important step simply because this is going to absorb oils, is going to allow your primer and all of these other things that we place just to kind of set into the skin and stay so that they can do what it is that they need to do. It also works as a great bond just to keep the primer in place and just kind of block any excess oil that kind of might want to sneak throughout the day. It really helps with a great foundation wear. Especially, and I'm gonna keep real, I recommend doing the step of placing a powder down if you're 100% not going to use a mattifying foundation. If you're going to use a mattifying foundation, I don't necessarily recommend doing a step like this in the wintertime. You can do it in the summer depending on your skin type, but if you are a combination skin type, I do not recommend you putting powder down and then doing a mattifying foundation. You just might be doing a little too much. Today, I'm going to be using my Scream Cream Foundation by Milani Cosmetics. And this foundation works for all skin types. So it's not a mattifying foundation, which is why I'm going to be laying down some powder. Now, if you are someone that has dry skin and you use a hydrating primer, you can still do this simply because your foundation is most likely going to be a hydrating foundation. So all this step is going to do for you is just going to allow that foundation last longer and it doesn't be so quick to transfer. Because you're going to use other powders to set your face regardless. So you can do a nice layer of powder underneath your foundation and not worry about your skin feeling too dry, as long as you properly moisturized and you use a good primer underneath everything. Just, for my girls out there with dry skin, I know it's a bit of an issue when it comes to like, damn, how do I go about my foundation now? Because girls with oily skin, we kind of go crazy with the powder, and what the powder kind of does, it really helps the product stay in place and not move. But when you have dry skin, you can't necessarily go crazy with powder. You can't. So I'm just going to go ahead and pat this all throughout my face. All right, so this is what my face is looking like with just a thin layer of powder. I like to make sure that my smile lines get a good amount of powder, just to kind of fill it in a little bit. So at this point, we are ready for foundation. I'm going to be using, like I said earlier, the Milani Scream Queen Foundation. I'm the shade 480. For any of you guys that are wondering about this foundation, I did do a foundation hunt video about this where I reviewed it, and I really just gave an in-depth talk about this foundation. I will link that down below. You guys can definitely check that out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pump it onto my brush. About this much, guys. I love foundation, and we're just going to spread it out all over my face. I'm going to be using my Sonia Kashi Beauty Blender, and I'm just going to go ahead and blend this out. It's already wet, and we're just going to go ahead and blend it into the skin. So everything is looking even. It looks good. I'm liking it. I'm liking this. It looks good. So I'm going to be using this Juvia's Place concealer in the shade number 9. And we're just going to pop some concealer on in there. All right, so my concealer is placed where I need it to be. I'm going to use the tip of my beauty sponge, and I'm just going to start to blend it out. Another sponge that is really good for blending out your concealer is going to be the e.l.f. This e.l.f. sponge. It's literally for blending out concealer on the face. It happens to be one of my favorite sponges to use, but I'm just going to stick to this one since I already started using it. And we're just going to go ahead and blend that out. Now time for like the part that really, really matters, the powders. We're going to layer different powders to get our face not to move, literally. The first powder I like to use is my Fenty Pro Filter powder in the shade Honey. This powder to me is just very intense, and literally every time I use it, nothing moves. But like I said earlier, it's very intense, so I can't necessarily use a lot of it. So I like just to take some, and you're going to see that I'm going to place it under my eye, down the sides of my nose, but I'm not being heavy-handed with it. I absolutely love the shade of this powder. I feel like it's so perfect, but the intensity of it for me, it just, it doesn't work. So guys are noticing I'm going back in around the little crevices of my nose, and I'm adding a little extra powder. And then I'm not adding powder anywhere else. And I'm going to take a fluffy brush like this, just a nice little fluffy brush, and I'm just going to start to literally gently dust it off. And the reason you can do a dusting off motion is because the moment you put powder on top, it kind of sets that concealer in place so it doesn't move. So that's why I'm very gently doing this. I'm not being aggressive. I'm just gently brushing that powder off. For me, this powder is very intense. But if you're somewhere where this powder doesn't like make you feel like you can't move your face, then please go crazy with it. But I like to do a little bit of it and then I'll layer other powders on top of it. And just by applying this powder as like my base powder, yo, my concealer will not move. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to all of the places where I highlighted. So you know you're going to wear your mask down here. And then you also know you're going to wear your mask. It's going to cover down here. And then again, I'm gonna take my brush and we're just gonna dust off the excess very gently. Don't get crazy with it. Don't be aggressive. Just gently do it. Just gently do it. The next powder we're gonna go in with is my Black Opal Soft Velvet Finishing Powder. I'm obsessed with these powders by Black Opal. So we're gonna be using this to set all of my highlighted areas. This powder does a good job of getting your makeup to stay without necessarily making you feel like it's sucking all of the moisture out of your skin. Where I feel like the Fenty Pro Filter powder at times, well, 10 out of 10 times, it makes me feel like it's sucking the moisture out of my skin. So that is why I like to, you know, tread very lightly with the Pro Filter powder. So I'm gonna take this Black Opal powder, and if you have not tried it, guys, please try it. I always dab off excess powder off the back of my hand. This is what the back of my hand looks like. And I'm just gonna go ahead and apply it under my eye. And this is basically the powder I'm going to technically bake with, I guess. I like to let it sit for like a minute or two. I don't necessarily like powder staying on my face for too long, but being that it's summer and I'm gonna be wearing a mask, I'll let it stay a little longer than normal. But depending on your skin type, you decide how long you wanna leave it on for. Next, I'm gonna go in with my Black Opal powder in the shade Dark. The Black Opal powder that I used in my lighter areas was the shade Medium. What I like to do is I'll take my sponge or a different sponge and again pat off the excess on the back of my hand, and then I just like to gently go over my entire face, very gently pushing it into my face to set my face. And a thin layer, you don't have to go, you know, crazy with it. Just a thin layer. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a big fluffy brush and we're just going to start to brush off all the excess. Let me use this brush right here. It's nice and fluffy and I'm just going to brush off excess just like that. Now hold up. I know a couple of you guys are looking at me like, V, will I be able to move my face? Yes, look, I can still move my face. What we're going to do is we're going to go in with a setting spray, but it's not a mattifying setting spray, just a regular setting spray. This is a long-lasting setting spray by Black Radiance. I love this setting spray. Again, another drugstore setting spray. You could even use the Morphe setting spray. You could use the Too Faced RX setting spray. They're all hydrating setting sprays. They're all setting sprays where they'll allow your makeup to stay on your face, but they're not absorbing oils. They're not mattifying setting sprays. So at this step, this is where we're just gonna go ahead and just mist our face with it. Mist a little bit in the air, make sure it's ready, and then just mist. I'm gonna go in with my True Complexions contour palette. At this step, you could use a contour palette or you can decide to bronze. Ooh, let me see what I have up here. Okay, so I have my Morphe bronzer in the shade Leader. So depending on what you want to do, you do that, or you can do both. So I'm going to just contour a little bit and then, ooh, where is my brush? Okay, so I'm gonna do a light contour and then I'm gonna go in with my bronzer. So we're just gonna just pop in a little contour right here. I'm not gonna bring it too far out. Just really focus it on this area right here for that dimension. And I'm not gonna go anywhere else with the contour because I'm gonna bronze, buff it out. And I'm using the Morphe M530 brush. This is my favorite brush to apply my powder contour with. I just absolutely love it. I know some people like to use like a bigger or more, like either a bigger brush or a more precise brush, but this just to me gets the job done in a really nice way. And I'm a huge fan of this brush. All right, I'm gonna go into that space now with my Morphe bronzer. And again, it's the shade Leader. This isn't my favorite bronzer of all time, but I do enjoy using it. So I'm gonna just get some product on here and we're just gonna pat it in. Again, I'm using like a fluffy brush to bronze. I know some, you know, some people like to use even a even bigger brush when bronzing. This is just a brush lately that I've been loving to bronze with, so that's why I've been going for that one. And now we're gonna go everywhere. I'm just gonna apply it on my forehead. I love bronzer on the forehead, guys. Can't tell me. I love creating like that like the dimensions of light hitting my forehead, where it's lighter here and then all around it's brown. Oh God do I love being black. Like, it's my favorite thing in the whole world when it comes to doing my makeup, to create that dimension right there. Can you see it? Like, you see how it's like light right here and then you're seeing the shadows that I'm creating. Oh Jesus, if there's anything in life that makes me happy, it's bronzer. And I'm just gonna add some down here, just like that. I'm gonna go in with my Rimmel London Stay Matte powders. I have the shade Nude, and then I have the shade Toffee. I love to apply these over my highlighted area and then my entire face, simply because this does a great job of absorbing excess oils, and it allows you to stay matte again without necessarily making you feel like it's sucking all of the moisture out of your face, which is extremely important. So I'm going to use the nude shade, which is a little lighter, and we're going to go right back into our highlighted areas. See, I have some on the brush, and we're just going to pat it in. Just patting it in. And I like to do all of this with the Beauty Blender because I feel like the Beauty Blender allows you to really push the product into your skin versus using a brush. Because I feel like sometimes the brush just kind of like, it's hard to control where the product is really ending up. You know what I mean? So we're going to get it together. Again, I'm going to use my big fluffy brush, and we're just going to brush off any excess. Now keep in mind, at this point, this is our third powder. That concealer is not going anywhere. It's there. All right? On the tip of your nose right now, it's not going anywhere. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in with the darker one, which is Toffee number 25. And I'm going to use the same Beauty Blender. The same Beauty Blender. I have not even switched Beauty Blenders. And we're going to go under where I added bronzer. And I'm just going to apply that. And I'm really patting it in and then just pushing it into my skin. Just like that. I'm applying it to my smile line area because I know those are areas that tend to crack with the foundation. And with the mask, you just need that extra support. And then again, I'm going to take my brush and we're just going to brush off any excess powder. What I like to do at this step before I apply my final powder is I'll go back in with my Black Radiance powder in the shade Dark, and that big fluffy brush we were using, I'll swirl it in a little bit of the excess powder, dust it off, like really tap it off, and then I'll just pat. Just pat. I'll even go over where I bronzed, and I'll just pat it all in there. And again, when you use the brush, it doesn't get as much product into your skin as using the Beauty Blender. So you just really want to just pat it in there. Just pat. Again, I know it's a heavy powder routine, but it does a great job of keeping that makeup on. Now, on to the last powder we're going to add. The last one we're going to add is going to be the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder, and I'm just going to add this in all of my highlighted areas. This does a really good job of just making everything look amazing. Like, amazing. I cannot believe I found out about this powder so late, but God, am I happy I got put on. So, using that same Beauty Blender, I'm just going to put some powder onto my Beauty Blender. I need a mirror. Use my little Fenty mirror here. And we're just going to go ahead. And I like to just really just focus it. I just push it in right in this area. I literally push it in, and it just like, you can already see how different this side looks from this side. Like, you know what I mean? Like, ugh, I love it. All right, so I look crazy, but it's all gonna come together. I'm gonna just take that same brush, and it's great because right now it has like a little bit of like that darker, the darker powder on it from earlier that we used, and we're just gonna, again, dust it all off. Very gently, just dust it all off. All right, so we're looking like right now, like, whew, I can still move my face. So we're gonna be using two different setting powders. So we're gonna be using two different setting sprays. We're gonna go between the long-lasting Black Radiance setting spray and then the mattifying Black Radiance setting spray. I'm gonna go ahead and spray the mattifying Black Radiance setting spray first. Ooh, sorry guys. Let's make sure that works. Ooh, Jesus, that's a... Ooh, I need a fan, and that I'm drenched. All right, so after you have sprayed yourself down with a mattifying setting spray, go in with just a regular setting spray that's not mattifying, and just mist it all over your face again. I'm going to be using the Fenty Cream blushes, so I like to use my setting sprays before I apply my Fenty Cream blush. I don't know why, I just like the way it looks when I do it that way. So we're going to be using the shade Summer Wine. I'm absolutely obsessed with these blushes. I feel like when they first came out, everybody was talking about them, and then the hype kind of died down. But I'm still using them, and I'm really, really, really obsessed with them. I do have a video on how to apply it, in case anyone out there is wondering. I love, love, love these blushes. So again, I'm going to use my beauty blender, my favorite way to apply it. I'm just going to get some products on the beauty blender. I don't know if you can see the product on the beauty blender, and I'm just going to start from up here and then bring it down. And the fact that I'm doing this with a beauty blender, it allows you to like really work the product into your face and then blend it in. So right now it looks like a lot, but I'm going to keep going over it with the beauty blender, and it's going to blend in. I take a little bit more, and I'm just going to apply it to the tip of my nose and then into this little space right here. I love the way it looks when I have a little bit of blush there. I'm just going to go back and forth. Like, it's cute. It adds like a little, I don't know, I just feel like it makes it look better. I did not apply any liner, lip gloss, or lipstick simply because, what's the point? You know, I'm putting a mask on. Normally, I'll apply that after I've arrived to whatever location I'm going to, and I'm taking the mask off. Here's my mask, and we're going to go ahead and put it on. Ooh, hold on. Take this off. Hold on, we'll be right back. Time for the mask test. Let's put it on my face and just see. And this is what the inside looks like. And as you can see, I pushed it down onto my skin and nothing came off. I'm gonna take the inside, I'm gonna just like put it onto my skin. And this is still what the inside of it looks like. There's no makeup. And I'm gonna do that same thing on the other side. No makeup. My nose. No makeup. Like, you would see some brown or some of the blush onto the back of this mask. And this, the way I've been doing it has been working for me, where I'm not seeing makeup transfer, where I'm not seeing a lot of makeup transfer. Like, obviously, you know, 5-6 hours into wearing your makeup, your face will probably need a little bit of a touch up, but it won't be to the point where it's like, oh, once I take this mask off, I know, you know, the tip of my nose, some of the makeup's gonna be gone, or on my chin, or on my cheek, some of the makeup's gonna be gone. No, it's really been working using multiple powders to set my face and to keep everything in place. So we passed the mask test. That officially wraps it up for me. I am going to go ahead and put on some mascara and then get dressed. I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified every single time I upload. You guys already know the drill. You guys know what I need for you guys to do. As always, love first. Mwah. Bye, my babies.